To understand the origins of Vivy, we first need to trace back to the studio that started it all. In 2012, Production IG merged with Mag Garden to form IG-Port, a major Japanese animation conglomerate. A few years later, former IG producer George Wada founded a new studio under IG-Port called Wit Studio. The studio's first project was none other than the smash hit Attack on Titan. Several other former Production IG staff members joined the team, lending their expertise and experience to the studio from the very beginning. This talent would prove instrumental to the creation of Vivy. Alright, let's meet the masterminds behind the scenes. First up, we've got Tappei Nagatsuki, the dude who wrote ReZero, and ReZero. Also some random show called Warlords of Sigdrift, but I'll skip that one to make the joke funnier. And then there's Eiji Umehara, who's got one of the most random MyAnimeList portfolios ever. He has worked on Halo Legends, Pokemon, and Star Fox. So let's dive into how they even started working together. In the very beginning, it didn't start with Umehara or Nagatsuki, but instead with George Wada, one of the co-founders of Wit Studio. He approached Eiji Umehara to collaborate with a new original anime project. Umehara had worked with Wada on multiple titles in the past. It was him who eventually suggested bringing Nagatsuki on board. Back when Umehara worked on ReZero, he gained a lot of experience. He asked Nagatsuki if he would like to write a novel to use as a concept for the original anime, instead of writing the novel and then adapting it. This was a bold move, but it paid off. The novel gave them a solid foundation to build on, while also keeping the story fresh and exciting for viewers. It's like an anime adaptation, but none of the viewers know what the original story was. The process of writing the novel and fine-tuning each other's work took a lot of time, starting from the end of 2016 and eventually wrapping up at the end of 2018. Before they even started writing, they had the idea of exploring the intersection of AI and singing, but they needed a fresh perspective to really make it work. That's when they hit upon the idea of exploring the concept of time, something Nagatsuki has tackled before. After the novel was written, it was time for actual production. They wanted to decide what the characters should look like and decided to have a staff competition. Whoever would create the best design would get their design in the show. In a stroke of luck, one of the staff members invited Yuichi Takahashi to join in on the competition, and he had exactly what they needed. Anytime he showed his artwork, everyone thought, this is exactly what we need. When you heard the title Vivy Fluorite Ice song, you know that the music is going to play a huge role. When it comes to creating music for an anime original, it's not uncommon for the people in charge of the soundtrack to need guidance from the script or plot to help shape their compositions. However, this wasn't the case for Vivy. Thanks to the novel, the creators had plenty of material to work with right from the start. Of course, without any visuals to guide them at first, it was still a challenge to create music that would fit the tone and themes of the story. But once a song was composed for the pilot, things began falling into place. This gave the creators a much clearer direction to work towards, allowing them to craft a musical style that was both fitting and unique. One of the biggest challenges that the music team faced was ensuring that the soundtrack would fit the different eras in which the story takes place. With Vivy spanning a period of 100 years, it was essential to create music that would be appropriate for each time period, while still maintaining a cohesive sound throughout the series. Now let's talk about the character Vivy's singing voice, which played a crucial role in the music. They didn't want to go for the voice actor or an already established singer because they wanted the vocal tracks to stand out on their own, and an established singer would become the focus of the song. Of course, this outcome wouldn't be ideal, so they needed a new singer that had a promising future. Normally, this would almost be impossible, but with Sony, who was assisting with the show and music, had a vast network, and introduced Kaori Yagi, a promising new singer. Initially, Yagi wasn't perfect, but as they worked together, she improved and evolved, which was perfect for the story since Vivy's singing ability also develops over time. With this, Vivy essentially had three different performers: Atsumi Tanizaki as the voice actor, Kaori Yagi as the singer, and the animation itself acting out the movements. It was a unique collaboration that brought the character of Vivy to life in a beautiful way. Before the show was fully complete though, the team faced one more obstacle. They found it challenging to condense the story into 12 episodes. It was difficult to start the story in just one episode without leaving a different impression, and after much discussion, they decided to add an extra episode and release the first 2 episodes at the same time. And finally, after much hard work and dedication, the show was complete and ready to be released. The team was excited to see how audiences would react. Before the show's release, it struggled to gain traction and was ranked 27th in members. This is not uncommon for new original shows, but the team was hoping for a better start. The day before the release, it was at 19th place, and the concerns started to arise. However, after the first episode was released, there was a little change. The second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and then something remarkable happened. The show suddenly jumped to 7th place in the ranking. The reason for this sudden surge could be attributed to the many YouTubers who watched the show and included it in their seasonal anime videos. The show was just so good that it was hard to ignore, especially because everyone kept telling that it was underwatched when it first came out.
About an anime original coming from Studio Wit, written by ReZero's creator, involving a time-traveling idol cyborg going back to the past to prevent an AI apocalypse, starring Lelouch as a talking teddy bear that has great animation, amazing music, and an absolute banger first 2 episodes. It's gonna be one of the most popular anime of the season, right? What? What the fuck? What the fuck is it doing all the way down here?
Even now, years later, it still maintains its 17th place position in members and reached 3rd place in score for that season, beating out popular shows like To Your Eternity and 86. Vivy had finally